Such easy prey.
From the makers of Re-Animator, from beyond.
What's going on, all you wild scientists? Logan Myerz back here for Cinephellas.com doing more 31 Days of Horror. And tonight I'm going to be talking about 1986's cosmic sci-fi horror film adapted from H.P. Lovecraft. I'm talking about Stuart Gordon's
From Beyond.
So the film comes from director Stuart Gordon and producer Brian Yuzna, and they both worked on Re-Animator that came out the year prior, 1985. Really fantastic film. If you guys have not seen that, definitely check it out. It's a cult classic. So the setup of the film, we have a few scientists. They have this machine called the Resonator. Basically, once you turn on the Resonator, early on in the film, they kind of show this, and basically it opens up between this ultimate or parallel dimension of all these weird monsters and things like that. We're living in the parallel dimension next to ours, and once this is turned on, it breaks down that barrier, and the two kind of collide where we can see these monsters from this other dimension in our world, and things get pretty interesting early on in the film. And in this film, they don't waste any time getting to the good stuff. Right from the get-go of the film, we have Dr. Crawford, played by Jeffrey Combs, that needs no introduction. He was a big deal, especially when it comes to Stuart Gordon films. I loved him in the Re-Animator films. So he plays the scientist, Dr. Crawford. He turns on the Resonator. So we're introduced from beyond, these monsters from the parallel dimension, this parallel reality, and bringing them over to our world. And sets up a lot of cool practical effects early on. One having to do with this like eel-like alien monster creature that comes out and like attacks Dr. Crawford. And we see what exactly happens with that. Ted Sorel plays Dr. Pretorius. He's the other scientist that has to do with this machine, and he gets killed off early on in the film when the Resonator gets turned on, and Jeffrey Combs' character, Dr. Crawford, is flipping out, saying, hey, this is working, and it doesn't end well for Dr. Pretorius. So with that being said, in the setup of the film, we see exactly what they're kind of going for. It's very much H.P. Lovecraft in terms of like sci-fi and cosmic horror. And I love the overall setup of the film and how they're introducing this Resonator and how it can really pierce the pineal gland or the third eye. For any Tool fans out there, the third eye, the ultimate state of consciousness, they really dive into that and going into this parallel dimension and opening up the gate to these two worlds and bringing all those monsters in. The only way to really stop it is to turn off the Resonator. And it's pretty interesting. I like how the overall premise and the story is pretty unique and original. And it's something you would definitely see in H.P. Lovecraft because the stories are definitely out there. And that's what he's known for, creating and writing these characters and monsters and things that we'd only see in our nightmares. So I thought that's pretty cool. Essentially, Dr. Crawford is taken in after Dr. Pretorius is found dead. They think he killed him, but they don't really know what exactly happened with the Resonator. So that introduces the character of Dr. McMichaels, played by Barbara Crampton, huge fan of hers. She needs no introduction, especially when it comes to Stuart Gordon films. And she's really great in this film, playing a doctor. She's very educated, has a PhD, and brought in to kind of work with Dr. Crawford and figure out what exactly happened, what this has to do with the Resonator. So I really love Barbara Crampton's character. She's not like the cliche character she always plays. It's just like getting topless and naked and being there for the sex appeal. She actually has brains and playing a doctor, and I like the way that she's set up and what happens to her character throughout the film. Another great character in this film is Ken Foree. You guys know him from Dawn of the Dead, zombie films. Really great actor. He's done a lot of different roles over the years, but he comes in as the character Bubba and is working with Crawford and Dr. McMichaels. I love the scenes with those three. So they really had great chemistry. And with this film having to do with a parallel dimension, a parallel reality, and really having this machine where you can interact with this dimension that really exists, but we don't see these creatures. So I love the Resonator and how if you turn it on, it really opens up that gate and you can see these monsters coming into the real world, and you'll see what happens to Dr. Pretorius. He becomes this otherworldly monster and really gross looking, oozing, and just like the effects are absolutely beautiful in this movie. One of the best aspects is the practical effects. And he's also the character on the front of the film. You can kind of see how his face looks like it's halfway melted off and it kind of goes into his body. So that being said, I had an absolute blast with From Beyond from 1986. This is the first time I've watched this. I think I may have watched it a long time ago on VHS. I didn't remember much from it. I love Stuart Gordon, huge fan of Re-Animator, huge fan of Castle Freak, and then now From Beyond, a huge fan of this just for the story alone and the practical effects. Really great performances. I'm glad they did something different with Barbara Crampton. She's always kind of typecast as the same character. I love that she has brains in this movie. She's a doctor, has a PhD, she's educated, she works hard, and what happens to her character in a very seductive scene towards the end of the film. I really love Jeffrey Combs, another great entry in his filmography, always doing the cult classics in terms of horror, and I love his character in this film. And another great entry from director Stuart Gordon. I love this guy, really putting out H.P. Lovecraft novels that were adapted for film. I love how he took H.P. Lovecraft's writing and the monsters from the novel and adapted that into the big screen with really great practical effects, creature design, and a lot of memorable scenes in this film. So From Beyond from 1986 is a great cosmic sci-fi horror film. It's a movie that you guys should definitely check out during the Halloween season. It has all the great practical effects, really great premise, great performances. So if you guys have not seen From Beyond, highly recommend it. It's definitely one of Stuart Gordon's better films. So I'm giving From Beyond from 1986 a 4 out of 5 parallel dimension hair pieces. Where'd it go? So what did you guys think of From Beyond from 1986? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What did you guys think of all that creature design? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. This is Logan Myerz signing out. My mate up here, Dr. Pretorius. Until the next horror movie review for 31 Days of Horror. Cheers!